Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be finding out if the new generation Jeep Wrangler is reliable. This is a high mileage first year JL Wrangler, and so I think it'd be a pretty good one to look at to see how well it has held up. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Wrangler. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So powering this Wrangler is the Pentastar V6, 3.6 liter V6, goes through an 8-speed with this new JL generation. It produces 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque, and this particular engine has over 120,000 miles on it. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So with the JL generation, they basically took the normal Wrangler styling and just updated it some. So you've got these new lights with the JL generation. The bumper, it's changed a bit, but still has that normal Jeep look. And so they took Jeep's iconic style, like I said, just slightly modernized it. And I mean, again, 120,000 miles, the thing looks pretty solid if you ask me. Now, popping around the side, this one is the Sahara package. So you've got kind of more of a, I guess, mall crawler setup with the Sahara. And this does have all-terrain tires on it. They're just not crazy aggressive like a Rubicon. You still get a solid front axle with it. You still get a solid rear axle. Got fixed side steps with the Sahara package too. But again, I mean, for a Jeep, like the fact that the paint is still existing, I think that's a good sign. I think that's a pretty good sign. So that's held up pretty well, it seems like. And then if we pop over here to the rear, the swing gate still, yeah, functions. Got the little JL graph, which is cool. It's the window. But yeah, this is a 4-door, so you got plenty of space with this particular one. And yeah, easy. I mean, everything seems like it functions pretty well. I will say the front doors sound a little bit hollow. The back doors haven't been used as much, it seems like the soft touch here with this Sahara, a little bit fancier. And you can see the leather seats again. It doesn't look like they use the back seats too often with it, because those look pretty new. This is what I'm talking about. Listen to the door. Do you hear that? That's all. So you got kind of like more of a hollow sound with the front door. It's been open and closed a lot more often, so that does wear a bit. And what's also worn are these seats. So you can see the Sahara there, and look at the side bolster. It's completely compressed down. So again, that's gonna happen. The steering wheel extra shiny from all the hand grease over time. I know you probably didn't think you're gonna hear that in the video today. There you go, 120,000 on the odometer. Starts up, no problem. This Pentastar is actually a really good engine. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But everything functions in this, you know, as you would think. The camera's a little fuzzy, but you got like the dual zone climate with this, heated seats. You've got a 2-speed transfer case, and there is a little bit of, oh no, this is a cover. I was gonna say there is a little bit of warping in the center console, but no, it's got a cover they've added to it. Now the passenger seat not used as often, doesn't have as much wear as the driver's seat, but you can see a little bit of wear with it. They've added the grab handles with it. It's cool. And I forgot they did the stitching here on the dash with the Sahara and then up. This is actually held up really well. So this piece up top looks pretty much brand new. So outside of the seats, everything else seems like it's held up pretty darn well with this Wrangler with 120,000 miles. And the values on these are still doing pretty good too. I mean, this, I think it's like 20-something thousand. Check their website for the exact pricing. But, I mean, obviously it's not as much as it was brand new, but I just reviewed a Tesla that lost half of its value in 3 years, and this is from 2018, so you're 6+ years old at this point. Over 100,000 miles. That Tesla had 40-something thousand miles. And this is worth pretty much, I think it's the same price as that Tesla, or pretty close to the Tesla. So yeah, the Jeeps, they don't hold their value as well as they used to, but still worth something. Let us set off in this first year JL Wrangler. Before we get to driving, I'm doing 2 new series. I really want a break from reviewing new cars. I love reviewing new cars, but I just want to do something different for a little bit. So I'm doing a series on heavily depreciated cars, so you guys have seen a few of those, and then also on if cars are reliable or not. So let me know in the comment section below what heavily depreciated car you want me to review next, and then what car with high mileage that you want me to review next. And try to do, with both of them, newer stuff. Once you go a little bit too old, it's just might be fun to do, but it's also like not relatable for a lot of people because there's not a lot of people researching. I'd rather do cars that more people are researching into, because then it's kind of, to me it makes it more exciting, because it's like something that people are actually considering, right? There's not a lot of people considering buying a 1999 Honda Accord, but there are a lot of people considering buying, you know, maybe a 2018 Wrangler with some miles because it's in their budget and they're wondering, is it reliable? So there's my spiel. So in terms of how this drives, not perfect. So you do get more squeaking. So I own a Wrangler, never reviewed quite a few of these brand new. You get some squeaking in the back. There's a little bit of squeaking, and it's not obnoxious, but you can hear things kind of rubbing, which again, that's a Jeep thing that you just kind of get used to, I would say, especially with a Wrangler with some miles on it. The steering in normal Wrangler fashion's vague, but it hasn't gotten any worse, really. Maybe a little bit, but it's not bad. Brakes work great. Outside of the squeaking, like if you just blindfolded me, and so where I didn't see the wear on the steering wheel, you might be able to convince me that this is not as old and as high mileage as it is. It's a little bit nicer than I expected it to be. I will say that. And when sitting here idling, the engine sounds pretty good. This Pentastar V6 is great. I know everyone loves the old 4.0 inline 6, and I love it too. Great engine. But, you know, for a modern 6-cylinder engine, this Pentastar V6 produces pretty solid power. It's not a monster by any means, but it produces pretty solid power, and it's been shown to be a pretty durable engine. So it's no 4.0 inline 6, but it's still a pretty good powertrain. And the 8-speed in the new JL, great transmission. It's really smooth, the gear shifts, even at higher mileage. It's still a solid transmission, a lot better than the old 5-speed. The 5-speed was just brutally slow. It made the Wrangler's already not a fast vehicle, and it made the Wrangler feel even slower. So this is definitely appreciated. And autos, it's funny, it has auto stop start and it still works, starts right up perfectly fine. That's so cool. Yeah, this is a cool rig. I like how this is set up. Yeah, I might have lost a little bit of horsepower over those 120,000 miles, but and it doesn't sound quite as healthy as a brand new one, but it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. And the suspension's surprisingly solid. You know, that's something that does go on cars over time, is the suspension, but this is still doing well. Still seems like it handles well over the bumps and everything. Like I don't know if this has had new springs, I doubt it, but it drives well. That's impressive. You know, a lot of cars after 100,000 miles, they just drive like dog crap. You know, the suspension's just crashy, wallowy, and this is not. And you know, maybe that's a big part of that's the solid axles, right? It's just a more, you know, body and frame, solid axles, more durable build compared to modern cars that are unibody independent suspension. That could very well be the case. I'm impressed. Genuinely impressed with how well this drives. So is the new JL Wrangler reliable? You know, just like most cars, it's going to depend on how well you maintain it as the owner. And in my experience with these Jeeps, you definitely don't want to be skimping out on maintenance. You want to be going in as often as makes sense, which, I mean, here in Utah, for example, like a Jeep, probably every 6,000 miles, 4 to 6,000 miles, and every, I don't know, I'd say 4 to 6 months. But if you're not in an extreme climate like Utah, then you can probably do a little bit longer maintenancing. But I mean, most cars though, if you do that 4 to 6,000 miles in 4 to 6 months, man, you can get some mileage out of them. You can certainly get some mileage out of them. So overall, I'd say so. If it's well taken care of, I think that you can get, this Pentastar V6 is good. And if you don't get too many features in the Wrangler doesn't really offer a crazy amount. But if you don't get too many of like the fancy things, then it's less stuff to break. But overall, it's a pretty analog vehicle compared to most modern cars, so that's why it's going to be more durable, is there's just less to break on this. It doesn't have all the fancy tech that the modern stuff has. So let me know what you guys think about the JL reliability, but I think I've seen several of these Pentastar V6 versions with pretty high miles. I think that it has held up pretty dang well. And it's one of the few modern cars that even after a lot of miles, it'll squeak a little bit, but overall it'll still drive well enough that you're not annoyed with it, I think.